Hello, freight broker family. I hope you're doing well today. I hope your families are doing well. Today, I want to come into your space and talk to you about profitability, because what else is better to talk about when we're talking about business than being a profitable, successful business? Now, the question that we get sometimes is how long? How long is it going to take me to become a profitable business? Usually what I see in the articles is it takes about 2 to 4 years for a business to become profitable. And I think that depends on what type of business model you're operating. Now, what impedes progress to profitability? When you really start thinking about that, what stops a business becoming profitable faster than another business becoming profitable? What that is directly tied to is how much it's going to cost you to get started in that business, right? How much is your continued overhead cost going to be? The lower your costs, then the quicker you can get to profitability. And that's one of the best things about a freight brokerage is that there is a low barrier to entry. It doesn't cost a whole lot of money to come into this business at all. And then one of the biggest things that works in your favor as a freight broker is you're working from home. And what does that alleviate right out of the gate? You don't have the cost to go out and purchase a space for you to do business in, because that rent, or if you're buying a place, the mortgage that you plan on that place is going to be probably your biggest cost. And when you can eliminate that cost, work from the comfort of your home, all you have to worry about is paying a mortgage or rent that you already had anyway, so you don't have any additional cost to add to that. And not only do you get to work from home and get rid of that cost, but there's also a low ongoing cost of a freight brokerage. So it's not going to take as long to people who are down to the business, who are getting down to the business in a freight brokerage. It's not going to take you as long to become profitable. In this video today, I am going to share with you how long it took me as a freight broker to become a profitable business. Let's make sure that we're on the same sheet of music as we understand profits. Now, what I'm saying when I say profits is the total amount of revenue, the total income that a business produces on an annual basis, minus the total expenses of that business, including the owner's salary. Now, me, myself, and my business, I didn't take a salary for the first 3 years of my business, so I didn't have to worry about that as an expense to the business. But now we don't want to prolong not paying ourselves a salary as a CEO, because you're doing the hard work. You are the person that's pushing that business forward. But because there's not a whole lot of income usually that comes into a business when we first get started, we sometimes delay a salary for ourselves. But don't make that any longer than necessary, because again, you deserve to get paid. You richly deserve to get paid if you're the CEO of a freight brokerage company, because when it comes down to sales, you have to do all of the hard work. When it comes down to moving those loads, you have to do all of that hard work. So at some point, much sooner than later, we want to start paying ourselves a salary, because when we start paying ourselves a salary, then our numbers more accurately reflect what our business will look like moving forward. Now let's take a look at the main expenses of a new freight brokerage so we can get a better idea of what the profit picture might look like. Number one, when you start a freight brokerage, most of us are going to go and set up an LLC. You don't have to set up an LLC, but most of us will. For some reason, we feel like that's the best way to go. Even myself, I started out with an LLC. If you start out with a sole prop, of course, it's not going to cost you like it would to start out with an LLC. But let's just say you started out with an LLC and it cost you roughly $500 to $1,000 to get your LLC set up. Once you finish your LLC, now you have an entity in place. Let's say you go out and get your motor carrier authority so you can have a license to operate as a freight brokerage. That's going to cost you about $300. One time, you don't have to pay that anymore. And then you're going to go into your UCR registration, and that's going to cost about $60 or $70 for your UCR registration. And you'll also take a look at a surety bond, because As a freight broker, I have to have a $75,000 surety bond to operate legally as a broker. That's usually going to cost, when you first get started, between $900 and $3,000. Let's say you're on the high side and you pay $3,000 for your surety bond, right? So we're dealing with a total cost there, because usually we pay the surety bond all at one time. So you're paying $3,000 for your surety bond. Remember, we said that the cost of your brokerage to set up the LLC would be about $500 to $1,000. Let's say on the low end on that one, let's say we go at $500. So now we're at a cost of $3,500, but roughly $3,600 with the UCR registration. Now let's take a look at the insurance. In this business, we don't have to have insurance, but many reputable brokers, most reputable freight brokers, in my opinion, will have, at the very least, contingent cargo insurance. So if you start out with contingent cargo insurance, you're going to be paying probably $800 to $1,200 a year for that insurance, and you'll pay that on a monthly basis, right? So you factor in another $100 per month for your insurance cost. And then if you take a look at your TMS software that you'll need, a starting system will cost you about $50 to $100 per month. And then you'll need a load board. And a load board is going to cost, let's say, roughly $200 a month. I pay $120 for my load board, but you, being new, coming in at this time, let's just say you pay $200 a month for the capabilities that you need with a load board, right? So when we take a look at it, that's basically the cost that you'll have to operate a freight broker business. Not much other than that, because remember, we're not paying any rent. If you're working from home, you're paying your rent or your mortgage on your home like you normally do, but you don't have any additional costs that you have to pay. So when you look at that total cost, that's probably about $5,000 to get started. And then an ongoing cost of less than $1,000 per month. So now think about that. About $5,000 to get started and less than $1,000 a month that I have to pay. So everything over that is profit. For example, in our business, in the first year in business, we made a total income, total revenue of about $59,000, right? And after we backed our expenses out, we had expenses of about $20,000 because we made some upgrades in the business in the first year. Then we ended up making about $38,000. Now, I was ecstatic about that. I mean, I was just so thrilled about being able to make $38,000. And you might say, why were you so thrilled about making about $40,000? I was so thrilled about making $40,000 because these were $40,000 that I made through my own efforts. And now it was no longer theory. It wasn't what people said. I actually knew that I could sit at home, work from my computer, move loads, and make money. That was something so fulfilling. I was so excited about that. So moving forward, I was just gassed up about this business. Now, how long does it take people to become profitable? Well, we did it within our first year. We became a profitable business. So it doesn't have to take 2, 3, or 4 years for you to be a profitable business. As a freight brokerage, you have to get customers, you have to start moving loads, and be able to make profits in those lanes that you're moving. And then most importantly, the most important part is to keep your overhead down. Keep your startup cost manageable. That way you leave a whole lot more room for profit. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series. I titled it, How the Load Movement Process Works. I bring you into the office with me so you can watch me as I move loads, talk to shippers and carriers so that you can get a better understanding of how this business works before you come into it. And then if you want to know more about how we go in and find the shippers that we work with, I'll leave a free video right here. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.